In the early 1970s, Highgate Cemetery wasn't just a graveyard, it was a Gothic jungle. Ivy strangled the Victorian angels, and the massive stone tombs of the Egyptian Avenue were cracked open by the roots of ancient trees. It was the perfect stage for a collective fever dream. Here is a story of the nights when the dead of Highgate supposedly refused to rest. The atmosphere, London, 1970. The city was thick with the scent of coal smoke and revolution. In North London, the massive, overgrown Highgate Cemetery had fallen into a state of romantic decay. It became a playground for occultists, bored teenagers, and those who claimed the vibration of the place had shifted. The rumor started in the local papers. The Highgate vampire, the sightings. It began with grainy reports of a gray figure gliding behind the iron gates. Then came the dead foxes, found drained of blood, their necks punctured. Two rival vampire hunters, David Farrant and Sion Manchester, turned the cemetery into a battlefield of egos. They didn't just bring crucifixes, they brought television cameras. The night of the Great Hunt. On Friday the 13th, March 1970, the frenzy peaked. Despite police warnings, a mob of hundreds swarmed Highgate. They scaled the walls with makeshift stakes and flashlights, driven by a cocktail of Hammer horror films and genuine superstition. Among them was a young man named Elias, who slipped away from the shouting crowds toward the columbarium. While the mob cheered at the gates, Elias found a tomb where the heavy stone door had been wrenched ajar. Inside, the air was unnaturally cold. He didn't find a caped aristocrat. He found something worse: silence. As his torch flickered over a lead-lined coffin that had been dragged halfway out of its niche, he saw the scratch marks, not on the outside, but on the inside of the lid. The refusal to stay buried wasn't a supernatural curse. It felt like a desperate, centuries-old panic. The aftermath. The vampire was never caught, mostly because it likely never existed. But the damage was real. Tombs were desecrated, and the dead were indeed disturbed. Not by their own volition, but by the living who were obsessed with them. Eventually, the Friends of Highgate Cemetery took over, pruning the ivy and locking the gates. The ghosts didn't leave, they just finally got some privacy. Why it happened, a quick reality check. While the stories are legendary, the Highgate vampire phenomenon is now studied as a classic case of collective hysteria. Decay. The crumbling state of the graves made it easy to imagine things escaping. Media, local newspapers fueled the fire to sell copies. Pop culture. This was the golden age of British horror cinema. Life was simply imitating art.